Interview to Mange Mansai.
Okay, basically we get within that they call the Universal Periodic Review. And the Universal Periodic Review is actually a process where the human rights situation for every country inside the world, the UN General Assembly within team, then they assess them. So every year, how we observe human rights situations in the country, when they report on them. This is not a situation where you don't need for me a state party to a particular covenant or a particular convention or protocol before they assess you. What in that one they mean? Sometimes you go say, well, me not to a state party, to the International Convention on the Rights of a Child, so nobody can ask me question. But in a situation like this, escape no day. Whether you're not a state party to a particular covenant, convention, or protocol, they will assess you. Then a session also where they give states them also the opportunity for make them also talk to you about the human rights situation of your country. For example, one on a day during the session here, if somebody like from Italy find out, say, the human rights situation of a country of Sierra Leone, especially in relation to issues of sexual penetration, it can recommend, say, wanna take such steps. So it's an open session where then they assess the human rights situation of the country. Then other states also they get the opportunity, for make recommendations on how you go improve them. Then also a session where they give governments them the opportunity for make them look at the recommendations then and also implement them, and all that they geared towards making sure rights in the country are protected, they are respected and fulfilled.
Una dey review una self. That's not the motive. But today, una canaya with different civil society them. So, which particular aspects now, or which stage now, una dey na the process?
We come with civil society organizations that we also call MDAs. We come with a lot of other groups that they intervene in the field of human rights. Because if you look at what the guidelines say for this process, you're not for left anybody behind. You for bring everybody on board. We don't get consultative conferences them on how to move the process forward. We don't put all the recommendations then together. We don't categorize them. They are ready for deal with women and children. We don't put on one side. For example, they also get for education. We don't put on one side. So now, since we do that one day approximately like 1 year, 8 months ago, we they bring CSOs them come back together. Also MDs for can't tell we now waiting at the current situation in relation to the implementation of the recommendations their way. The UPR process been profile then years than day. So it's like if they work in the field of education, you go say, well, to a very large extent, we don't see the growth what don't happen in education. If not health today, you say we don't see the growth, we don't be in health. If you get challenges, you're also supposed to state that out. And we're very concerned that people get a true picture of the human rights situation of the country in relation to the recommendations the way they be profound at the UPR last.
Talk about the recommendations the way they be profound at the UPR. So now, how many of the recommendations and now waiting at the recommendations they are?
We get 177 of the recommendations where we agree. Then 13 of the recommendations Sierra Leone notam. So now waiting now what they mean? It really means say when other states they recommend say una do this or we know that for improve on the human rights situation of the country. You know they say that by force to make you take them. So at that session, you they say to yourself, well, we go able to recommend what you talk about improving on the situation of women there inside the country or on education inside the country. But you go watch some other one that you go say, well, they were so, we go note them down. They're very important for make rights go be enjoyed. But we take them into consideration. We're not going to discard them, but we'll take them into consideration and look at them from another point of view. But the focus will be on the 177, for example.
When review exercise will actually start, when countries and go come out together, then begin for review themselves. So when this process now will start?
Well, the process actually not start soon. Because the thing is, countries are assessed after every 4 years. And as certificate for doing it, as they give you recommendations, so if you're in any country very concerned about the human rights of people, you begin watch out. And this is the process where we are on to right now. So after the documents we go for come out now, we go for develop, we call it the shadow reports. Government INSESF get for doing your reports. CSOs they also can do reports. The UN also can do their reports. And apart from the government, you do all other reports, what they call it shadow reports. And that means say, what the Human Rights Commission go write in shadow report? Government for Siam. What the government go for writing in shadow report? You are not go for Siam. All of these are independent reports where, as a country, the different groups that they present to the UPR. Then, after that, when you don't present that, you get some time where they go take and look at them. And during the session, they will go for raise concern, say, well, according to what the human rights report say, it's a little bit different from what the civil society organization, the report say. Let we present a picture when a true and just reflection of the human rights situation in the country.
Chairperson for Human Rights Commission, Patricia Nansu Danema, they talked to Maggie Mansell in the interview. They say call on civil society organization them for give the correct report about human rights situation at the country. The program na Good Morning Salon.
Well, they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. We continue with the program. Usai, we can to the Office of National Security. Usai, then we pull statements, both the hate speech and threats where they go around na the social media. Well, they pull press release where they call security sector once against anything that will disrupt the country's peace and stability. Intelligence estimates indicates that individuals, known and unknown, have been engaged in activities including making pronouncements that are tantamount to disrupting the peace and stability of Sierra Leone. The security sector wishes to assure the general public of its avowed commitment to protect the citizens, their well-being and the integrity of Sierra Leone. In the spirit of inclusiveness and supportive security, everyone is encouraged to remain law-abiding and report any suspicious activity that has the tendency to undermine national security. In view of the foregoing, the security sector of Sierra Leone wishes to assure the general public that it is in full control and people are encouraged to go about their normal business without any cause for alarm. Well, Brigadier General retired J. A. Oja Toka, National Security Coordinator, signed on behalf of the security sector. Well, then a press release will come out from the security sector, and at the program this morning, if we can talk about this and more, we get Abdul Karim Will, in the spokesperson for Office of National Security. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Madam James, and thank you for hosting.
All right. Well, the UNS, they for coordinates all the security sector in the country, and they don't begin to do this since 2001. Same way, so they serve as secretariats for coordinate emergency them, whether natural or man-made. Well, for the purpose of today, now we can talk about the security sector. We see on the 24th, the ONS, where they coordinate the activities of all security sectors in the country, pull a press release. We want to know, first of all, what you have been done there?
Plenty, thank you again. Part of the broader mandate of the security sector are for provide an enabling environment whereby peace and security will prevail, whereby people will go about their normal business without let or hindrance. And we new outlook of security, now one way people-centered. We don't move from that traditional form of security to a people-centered security. We mean say, in all of what we do, that the human being stand out very clear in our activities. For achieve the mandate, where we cut out for, we think say engaging the public, informing them, educating them, raising their awareness, that one will be very pivotal in the overall achievement of that mandate they will get. So this press release now part of that kind of engagement for inform the public about what they happen, and for also assure them that we know what they happen and that we're on top of the situation. If you see the press release, divided into several segments. First, we indicate say that the intelligence we don't receive over the period don't indicate say certain people what we sabi, other one the way they connect, they will not know the track, then they make pronouncements, then they into activities we get the potential for disrupt the peace and security of Sierra Leone. And therefore call on them people in there that in the interest of the country and in their own interest, important for letting refrain from that kind of activities and they because you know go born good picking. And for also call on the public for let them provide with support, because we think say if they provide security for somebody, if you also be part of that security provision there, it's very much important for let una all work together for achieve that kind of thing there. Now that make the new security architecture. Now one will make provision for decentralized security structures. So not only in a Freetown, we talk about the provincial security committees, when are the committees that already exist at the provincial level, we get the district security committees at the district level, and we get the chiefdom security committees. All of them were on a platform, society people them within their communities, and they come together and discuss issues where they ordinarily affect the community and by extension the country. So that make we call on the public for remain law abiding and for work within the ambit of the law and for report any suspicious activity and for assure everybody that let we go about to normal business. Let nobody, as a result of them, incendiary statement to people in the center, social media, either through WhatsApp, audios, or text messages. For let them not fall for that kind of thing, because some people were in a miscreant and just want to present a semblance of insecurity in the country, but that's not the case at all.
All right, Mr. Will, you say una know wetin dey happen, make people go about their normal business. At the same time, una talk about make mention of people wey una know and the one dem una know, una no know. As ONS wey dey coordinate the security sector, we see the same kind, similar situation at the Pademba Road riot the last year. Musai, una be know, intelligence be there out, people let me know, say something therefore happen, and then eventually we see wetin happen, wetin people dem be dey talk, it happen. In this case, and una self don put on una press release say people wey una know and the one they una don't know. So for the one they una know now and this intelligence una don't get, for let wetin be happen at Pademba Road not happen again. Wetin una don't do or wetin una dey do now since una already know some of the people there.
Part of a mode of operation, engaging people covertly and overtly. We mean say we can talk to people in secret and we can talk to people in public, and we can also source with information using secret means. We don't engage them people and they will sabi, then groupings and they will sabi, and therefore warn them at private level, quiet level, for ensure say they refrain from their activities and they. And also, wait till we do so, now for let the public know that we don't do this kind of thing. And for some of them, people when they send out incendiary messages and that kind of thing, we only follow. Action don't be taken against so many people where they don't bring calm and question them and caution them. So we think it's important that we let the public know that we know what's in the happen and we inform people and for letting refrain from that kind of thing. You mentioned the incident at Pademba Road prisons. That yes, we know what's in the happen and we forewarn. But everything really happen in life now lessons to the land, and as a result of them lessons, they make we come now forward. Okay. Tell the public that we want them that let people where they into their activities and we get the potential for disrupt the peace and security of Sierra Leone. Then they refrain from that. Otherwise, they would do that at their own detriment.
So, now we look at the issue of hate speech from the ONS perspective. Whose level wanna assess and say Idena Salon?
A worrying, and especially so, where the people and we really now the trail bearers of HPCs now people and we now Sierra Leoneans, but they don't reside in Sierra Leone. But then they take advantage of we youthful population, we quick for fall for cheap lies. Now that make we attention don't be focused on youthful population. That if by the way how they make we, by the way how we they come na the wall now so we they go, we for even cherish the country much more than even the old pardon because now we get more time now. So we want for estimate say the level at which hate speeches they project itself in we body politic, in we society, in we social engagement. Now one way they become unprecedented, and now one way it not been a biso before, and it at some higher level. Now that make what they do so now for diffuse the tension then they, but for tell the public, maybe on the unsuspecting public that the aim of them people who they send them message and they now for create confusion, for present a false semblance of insecurity, a false semblance of incohesion among the security sector. Now that make even the release will come out. Now members of the security sector family now then develop these themes, then themes already into this message. Okay. For give the public the impression, for give the public the assurance that now a cohesive security and for and on behalf of every member of the security sector now in the national security coordinator when at the head and coordinator of national security sign this release for. So let people not fall at all for them kind of thing and they because them thing and they only mean for confuse people and spur them into some actions where go be negative in terms of the consequences.
You make mention of una position for one the people we they send them kind speech on then can audio on social media and other platform then, and also you mentioned see most of them they live out of Salone. Now somebody go like for ask whose power ONS gets for able get at them people and say for ensure say they stop as soon as they want.
Well, we powers they within the jurisdictions of Sierra Leone, because as Sierra Leone they provide security for, and sadly, then people anyway they do so now we nationals, so they don't go take other citizenship. We know one for lending that kind of credence we they look for. Most of the people the way they produce their message and people don't really need for be given that kind attention what they look for. Because attention seekers and people who want for gain prominence, society they don't actually deserve them. Because we get prominence in Leone, so they play.
But then why una feel why una say waiting they do go disrupt the peace and security?
Yeah, because you can agree with me say that over the period, most of the events that we don't happen don't be preceded by audio messages from the same people, the same sources where they call on people, the youthful population. Most sadly, we get some set of we community of we people and we gullible for whatever reason. We then fall for something, they ask questions, they just go into action. Now then one day now they will get responsibility for educate. Because why important for let them not act based on calls from people who will not reside in the country now, because when the consequences of the action come, now then go bear the brunt. Not to them people and we send them for do A, B, and C, where they go after, because now your responsibility. If you react to something, you don't ask questions, really investigate well and go into action, the consequences will only come back after you. So in your own interest and the interest of your community and in the interest of the country you call your own, I think it's important that whatever information somebody give you, you cross-check them, because you're conscious, you get a responsibility for guard, even the security of your country.
If you listen to the program, you listen to Good Morning Salone, and at the program we get the spokesperson for ONS. This morning they talk about the security sector press release with them pool, who say they want people and where they do audios, we go and bug the peace and also assure Sierra Leoneans for stay calm. Now, I'll come back to you, Mr. Will. My colleague asked you now just know about hate speech, where you say very worrying, and we may wanna pull this release. You think say the country they under any threats?
No. Now people they want to present a semblance as if the country they under threat. The country they under any threat whatsoever. Me and you the insider, no say we not get any reason for be threatened. We not get any reason for be alarmed. Then people already do so now that kind picture they want to present. We know say but people they go about their normal business, and that we want to encourage people to go. Because it is wrong that a certain group of people want for just create a picture as if things are wrong, things are not they go well, and then they do it for a purpose, either because they want for feather their own nest, or they want for gain some prominence we do not actually deserve, or even for deter investors for come into the country. So for we waiting at the country, we now here we hope for day, now we hope for progress we say. We not for support them kind of people in it, because if they succeed in stopping investment for coming into the country, then now me and you will go for suffer, because now me and you will go for they without jobs. So now that make we want for tell the people and let them be very mindful and watchful about them kind of people and discard the information they wouldn't give them.
So the country's security, they're under control?
Totally, we are under full control.
Which lesson una learn from the Pademba Road incidents for make repeating safe? Since una already get the intelligence, and this one also gets another intelligence.
So many structural issues there what we need for put into place, because most often the intelligence the processed information and people and they in position we need for take action, and we na early warning agency, we na early warning institution, we roll stop at providing the intelligence, telling you that this is about to happen, do XYZ for let it not happen. It's now your onus for ensure say you do them. Yeah, so one of the lessons we learn now that when we identify say this one, especially one that we very critical, crucial to the security of the country, we not only they provide the intelligible, you also ensure that we come on the back for ensure say you implement some of the measures that we would not recommend.
All right, continue for the between the program. Abdul Karim Will, spokesperson for ONS. We continue the program.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and we continue for look at more issues inside the program. The Salon Constitution give power to the Salon Police for investigate, charge, and prosecute crime them, but concern don't they come out from civil society organization them. But how police did and one part civil society organization they are now Citizen Advocacy Network, who said executive director, call on authority them for pull politician them na the police council where he say na the reason that we make police them they do the wrong thing. Well, we join Michael Sambula for more on this.
But what is happening is the fact that there is a police force that is being remote controlled by powerful politicians.
For make anybody think say this government they use police against people who believe say not to in support base, then that person necessarily not believe in his own leadership ability.
As Citizen Advocacy Network Director Thomas Mokonte they say police don't turn toy, na politician they earn. The Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, Lai Lawrence Lima, no agree for that statement day. The Salon Police get mandates na the 1991 Constitution for protect life and property them. But over the past year, when any report go come out na do for sake of police, na one way go show say then they take bribe, commit some crime them, we go against people the right, and self shoot people. The citizens' perception survey show say over 90% of people not trust the police again. Thomas Mokonte explain wetin the organization observe we make confidence not dey for Salon Police again.
My confidence in the police force is very shaky because of political interference, then professionalism, lack of capacity. I feel say until unless we get anything serious to address, I will be constrained for get absolute confidence in the police force. And the respect for police is dissipating seriously, and people don't begin to take the law into their hands now, challenging the police. See how police officers then be doing a constituency 110. Then they see lawless people. They go inside the polling station, they pull the ballot boxes, they destroy them. Then team up, they watch them simply because they belong to the party within governance.
With this kind talk, it shows say urgent attention need for paper and the police. Superintendent Brahma Kamara, now the head of media for Salon Police.
You read the laws, you're going to see police get operational independence. If you read the Constitution, Section 155 to 158, the right and the very clearly say the special get operational independence, you know. And if you read the 1964 Police Act, they give the police specific functions. We get power for investigate, we get power for arrest, we get power for detain, we get power for prosecute, we get power for search. All those ones are functions the way they give to the police. So I don't know if somebody really come with the notion, say, those ones we will do them, now because somebody push you for doing, and we could do no. Now because we dropped that for them, we could do them. We they take oath. I think it's couldn't say if I respect the orders of those placed above you.
When them people are placed above the police, people believe say hold the remote for the control the police. The vice president, now the head of the police council. When are them day for look, promote and self-retire police officer them. The Minister of Internal Affairs, self then at the council. The police then direct supervisor, now the Ministry of Internal Affairs. The president, now they pick the Inspector General of Police. So, civil society believes say, with this kind of structure, government within a power can use police against people who then think say, not there for them.
That's where the Constitution equally so give the right to the professional head for equally so advise the political class for able to understand say professionally this is how we go. So largely in terms of say giving specific directives, say go and arrest this person, it depends on waiting now government directives where they come and what is the orders coming. But even before directives of that nature coming from government, the police themselves first of all get their own established law or acts where then they look at and then get the mandate by law, by constitution for no say if crime occur then get right for go arrest.
You've been listening to Lai Lawrence Lima and are the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs. Civil society organization plenty term. They say where people na government broke the law na above case. Where other people then, where they far from power do that, the law can grab and team up. where President Bio addressed the country on the high state of violence na Salone. That same day, he been address am to certain people where he think say get hand for bring violence na the country.
I have ordered the intelligence and security forces, anybody who incites, plans, supports, undertakes, or is involved in any manner of violence in this country will be dealt with harshly.
With the vigor and power from the president, any security officer go want for please the president. But the police been get clear chance that day for demonstrate this.
I don't tell the brigade, I don't tell the AIG who they shoot, anyone will kill him. Let my man left.
That's na resident minister not. We then kind word and day where equals to threatening. But as we dey talk now, police not one day invite am for this talk and self in position where the president been pull line hand after this. He don't get am back. I ask Superintendent Brahma Kamara if the president dey pick the Inspector General of Police, how he independent.
The kind of thing you look at, like for say, the president, they in power, he go just they say, do this, do this, do this. No, I don't dey around the police leadership for some time. You know they operate that kind of way. Now you get the training as policeman. So then they expect for them to operate independently. And this is how they operate. But now the constitution, I make them very clearly say, now the president then go appoint the IGP. But equally so, not to the IG and the president appoints. God, the office is the president that appoint people.
The Internal Affairs Deputy Minister deny say, he not don give order them, we not dey according to the law from where he take office.
Let's say in a meeting, as a minister, I give directives. First of all, understand first that my directives resonates with laws, with policy programs, with government programs. That's the first thing you check. If my directives not resonate with government policy programs, with laws, then that is where you as a professional can advise.
If it becomes so much professional, you not think say when fear for job, say good lost in job.
Except that politicians, SF, no one for continue for enjoy in office. So similarly, if you are a professional and you believe say the directives where you boss on you, this is very unreasonable directive, what do? Advice.
But if the police forget saying respect back, like the institution where the British government train and spend plenty copper pan for make them be professional, some of small content explain waiting for do.
We advocate that this police force be removed totally from politics. Politicians not forget hand in waiting to happen at the police force. You look at the way police officers they carry their job, they don't even know the difference between police officer and politician. They really bring down the reputation of the police. So we feel say if we want to forget anything here to address, one, let the police council be devoid of politicians. Let the vice president be removed totally from the police force. We'll get independent people, not politicians. These are people who for ensure that they continue to stay in power, no matter what it costs. And that is how they use the police.
But people need for say the police officer them working involved in crime face the law because the law big pass all man. Self police officer them not for the left folk and go sit down. Where plenty people believe say now because of politics. Police for left for the long hand and put in a pocket. For the Society for Radio Democracy, Michael Sambola.
Salone Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile app, you can able for use Salone Link money transfer for send money to anybody like you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office like you not get the account number. Buy Edsalight, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for we boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all your supplier them, sell forex to Salone Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store, or go to Salone Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
The program is still listening to Salone Salon, we come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. And we will bring you this midweek edition of the program Good Morning Salon. Musa Kamara Naminim.
And Asma James.
And as we still get Abdul Karim Will, spokesperson for Office of National Security, we the left we now the studio. But before you go, you don't they talk about the measures them who they put in place for ensure say what we regard as its speech we the embargo the country security reduce or come to an end. After this press release, waiting next for ensure say what you talk, say the country they at peace, people don't need for worry come to light.
We will continue for cascade this information to every corner of Sierra Leone, and in all of our engagement and the decentralized security structures for ensure say what we discuss now also resonate well with the non communities and for call on every Sierra Leonean and all that residents in Sierra Leone and outside of Sierra Leone for be very honest to Sierra Leone, because these are the only country who get to call we own. And what we do so in the form of this press release or these engagements for provide information to the people. Which man say to be forewarned is to be forearmed. What we don't do so now for give the people the relevant information what they need for the peace and security, because we are interested in all of what we do for provide the enabling environment to say everybody will go about a normal business. So this is how they do so now for give information to the people for raising awareness, and they expect nothing for the cooperation. We think say we owe a responsibility to Sierra Leone, given the experience we don't go through in terms of the war, in terms of the disasters that we don't struck we currently with the effect COVID. I think say we attention for be around how we for eradicate that kind of disease day away. So we don't want to be distracted. In as much as the people who they send their messages want to get the impression say we're distracted, that case at all. If you listen to text messages, now people will just get a message, now frivolous information in the pass on. But over the period, don't get information again in some section of population they trade, and then they want for appeal to it, because we secure who the provider for every Sierra Leone and everybody in Sierra Leone.
Quick one, as they send message to that when they send the audio, what about the people themselves who expose themselves to them who get worried that the country know that peace?
In fact, now we concerned. Nadami could appeal to them that if you receive any information, naturally any information you receive, you get for ensure say you see them, you get for an, and if you say you don't understand, ask